It's Free Ride Friday today, guys, so make sure you hang on to the end of the episode to see who won this week's free ride. If you want to win a free ride to the $100 MBA Training and Community, that's over 180 training videos, workbooks, community forum, interviews with experts, a whole bunch more, all you got to do is drop us an iTunes rating and review to enter the weekly draw. To learn more about that, just visit 100mba.net/show. Let's jump into today's episode. Heyo! Welcome to the $100 MBA Show, the business podcast that works harder to make sure that you're smarter as a business person with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today is part 2 of our 2-part lesson on how to be a pro with email. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please check it out. Pause me right now. Listen to part 1. That was yesterday's episode. I will be here waiting for you. So check out part 1 first if you have not yet, and come back to part 2. If you're all listened up, today we're going to be covering all the other aspects of being able to handle email properly so you're not wasting time, you're not wasting energy, and you're more focused in your business. So let's get down to business. Today's show is sponsored by one of my favorite podcasts, Freedom Fastlane, the #1 show if your goal is to have more money and more freedom in 2015. Open up iTunes right now and search Freedom Fastlane and hit subscribe. All right, let's jump right back into all those great tips for dealing with email like a pro. So the next tip when it comes to dealing with email like a pro has to do when you take a break from email. So this could be if you're traveling for a bit, for work or for pleasure. Or it could be when you have to meet a very tight deadline, when you're working on a certain project, you're about to launch something. Like as we're recording right now, we're about to launch the new Webinar Ninja podcast and the pre-sales for the platform. So I'm dealing with email a little bit differently right now. And a really great tip when you're dealing with those situations, when you're traveling or when you're on a tight deadline, you can't deal with email immediately, is to set an autoresponder or what they call a vacation mode on your email client. I know Gmail has this. It's very easy to set. And basically what it does, it sends an automatic email to the people that send you emails, your senders, that says, hey, I'm away right now, or hey, I'm really busy working on such and such. My reply will be delayed. I'm going to need a few days to get back to you. And it gives you a little breathing room. They get an automatic response that knows that, hey, I'm not going to be able to respond to you immediately. I'm going to respond to you within 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever you dictate, whatever you want to say in that response. And this is a nice, polite, professional way to let people know that you're going to be a little bit late, you're a little bit busy, you're a little bit tied up, it's a little bit out of your hands, so just be a little patient with you and you'll get back. And it gives you some time to deal with email when you can. So like we mentioned in part 1 of this lesson, you allot 30 minutes or so a day for email. If you're on vacation, if you're traveling, if you're on a tight deadline, you may not be able to do that. You may not have access to internet for some reason. I know that might sound crazy, but you might be on a long flight. Like you're going to Australia, that's like 14 hours, and you're going to have jet lag. You're not going to be able to really do anything. Instead of allotting 30 minutes every day, you can allot 30 minutes every 2 or 3 days. So that autoresponder or that vacation mode can really help out when you're in those tight times. Another way to save time when you're writing your emails, when you're replying to your emails, is to create a signature for your email. Your signature will show up every time you reply or send an email. You could set that in your email client. So in your signature, you want to include your name so you don't have to write your name or sign off with your name every single time you reply or send an email. You also want to put in your links, your hyperlinks, maybe for your website, your podcast, your blog, whatever it is that you're known for. Put that in your signature as well. And in an earlier episode, Noah Kagan advised us to put a link to your actual freemium, what you give out for free on your email so you can get more email subscribers. Now, the reason why the links are important is because when you're writing an email and you want to reference your site, let's say, for example, I want to reference the $100 MBA and say, hey, check out my site, the $100 MBA, to learn more, I could just write, the link is below in my signature. I don't have to write the link or hyperlink it. Hyperlinking can take some time. You have to highlight, then go to the link button and then type in the hyperlink, and then once you have the signature with the hyperlink, you could just reference it in the body of your email. So having a signature set up makes things a lot easier and also saves time and allows people just to check you out. Even if you're not referencing your link, you have your links there and people will check it out. Now, in this two-part lesson, we really focused on your personal business email. When I say personal business, I mean the emails that people send you directly. And I'm not talking about your autoresponder or your email marketing service like MailChimp or Aweber. But those are important. You should have those and have autoresponders set up to answer or provide information to your clients, to your customers that they would commonly look for. So when people sign up for the $100 MBA, I give them a series of autoresponders with some really great information, valuable stuff to answer some of their questions. I also give them some tips on how to get started inside the community. And that way, I kind of lower the amount of emails that I have to respond to, because then customers will have their questions answered already. A simple way to do this is when somebody buys one of your products or services is to have an autoresponder set up that sends them a link to an FAQ page. And you can have all the FAQs, all the questions that people ask you and you had to respond on email before, plug them into your FAQ page, and you can just hyperlink that FAQ page in your body of your email to the autoresponder, and that way people can have that handy. They can just go straight to it if they have any questions. It's also good when you have emails coming to customer service, people asking questions that are in the FAQ page. Instead of having to type out that answer, you can just send them that link to the FAQ page and say, you can find your answer here, saving you more time. Guys, I have another tip for you when it comes to dealing with email like a pro. But before that, got to give some love to today's sponsor, Freedom Fastlane. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that today's sponsor is one of my favorite podcasts, Freedom Fastlane. If you've been listening to the $100 MBA show and you are ready to start a business, or you want to take your business to the next level, or your life to the next level for that matter, this is one show that you should definitely subscribe to. My favorite episode is the one where he outlines how you can make and keep $2 million in 2 years. I also like the episode where Ryan explains how to invest your profits for passive cash flow so that you're not exchanging time for money. You'll hear these episodes and more to grow your business on Freedom Fastlane. Open up iTunes, type in Freedom Fastlane, and hit subscribe. To wrap up this two-part lesson, I have a very simple tip that you can use if you have not used it already, and that's make sure that you have separate emails or separate aliases for your email. Have your personal email for your business. So, for example, omar@100mba.net. But we also have contact at 100mba.net. We also have support at 100mba.net. And the reason why we have these separate ones is so that we know which emails to give out for certain purposes. So contact are the ones that we use when people reach out to us if they want to be guest teachers. My personal one is if somebody's reaching out to me to be a speaker at an event. Support is for support issues inside the $100 MBA. And by separating the different purposes for the different email addresses, it's a lot easier to organize your time when you're dealing with email. And it's also a lot easier for you to delegate. When I go to delegate email now, say for example, I want to hire somebody to deal with my support issues, I can train them up on the answers to the support questions. Same thing with the contact email. Maybe when you're getting started, you're going to be dealing with all the emails, and that's fine, but still have these different email addresses or different departments to keep it organized. Because later on, when you're going to delegate these tasks, you want to have these emails already set up and you have your audience already used to emailing you at those email addresses for the appropriate reasons. All right, guys, it's that time where we announce this week's Free Ride Friday winner. And the winner is D. Barrett Moore. D. Barrett Moore says, great update to my commute, 5 stars. Been listening to the podcast for about 3 weeks. It's become a can't miss part of my day. Thanks for making such great content so accessible. Thanks, D. Barrett Moore, for that awesome review, and thank you all for all your ratings and reviews. We really, really appreciate your support. If you have not given us a rating and review, please do so now. Your mission, D. Barrett Moore, is to email us at contact@100mba.net so we can hook you up with today's free ride to the $100 MBA. That's over 180 video lessons, interviews with experts, workbooks, ask questions anytime, a whole lot more. Welcome to the community. I can't wait to see you inside. Quick announcement, guys. If you have not checked out our new podcast, Webinar Ninja, we would love for you to check it out. It's a whole new type of podcast. Nicole and I are having a whole lot of fun creating it. You should subscribe to this podcast if you want to learn more about how to be a better speaker, better teacher, better communicator with your audience, as well as how to use those skills on the webinar platform. Just type in Webinar Ninja in iTunes and you'll find us. Hit subscribe. We'd love for you to be a listener. And if you have a minute, give us a rating and review over there. It really could help us as we're launching this podcast. Again, iTunes ranks us better. We'll get to be able to reach more people with our new podcast. If you give us a rating and a review, we'd really, really appreciate it, guys. Guys, I want to leave you with this. Dealing with email is all about creating good habits. And that is something I learned the hard way. Email can really suck a lot of your time, so make sure that you create good habits, just like we talked about in Lesson 1 and in Lesson 2 about allocating the time to do it, making sure that you have it off when you're working and focusing on your other tasks. And having those habits in place can really help you be more efficient, more productive, and get a lot more done in your day. And what you'll find is when you have good habits with one thing, like email, you'll start to form better habits in other things. And when you have good habits as an entrepreneur, it translates to being a better entrepreneur because you're spending your time doing better things more efficiently. I wish you guys an efficient day. I'll check you guys in tomorrow's episode. Take care.